start again. Signed to Frank Warren, got a new coach, a new promoter, everything I got new. Very hard time because I was the most hated athlete in the world. We're not talking about in the UK. At the start of my boxing career, when I got signed to Matchroom, can I swear on here?
You can do what you like.
Eddie Hearn and my managers at the time, they gave me the wrong advice. I'm banned from the Matchroom gym. He took me off the boxing show. I lost everything. My manager, coach, promoter, and my sponsors, everything.
It's not disrespectful.
My mum and my dad broke up and my dad left and my mum, she couldn't handle it.
Ohara Davies, better known as Two Tanks, is a shining star in the world of boxing. With an impressive record of 25 wins, including 18 knockouts, he has made his mark as one of the fiercest and most skilled fighters in the super lightweight division. Ohara's passion for his craft make him a true inspiration in the sport.
People and the teachers having fights, people bringing guns into school. About 17, I was in trouble with the law. Got in trouble many times, stabbed someone, passed drugs. So when Conor came, I'm the first one that he sparred with and he was there. Tony Tim, it was like a few friends, a bunch of friends, just me, him and a few others. Things happen in boxing. There's no perfect fighter. Sometimes boxing's not fair. Sometimes luck chooses one person to give them a big brand and a big following. Nowadays, people don't care, especially being a boxer. Our strengths are so different. I've got long arms. I'm more a one-punch KO. It was a massive fight. I had sponsors for a while now. In a Matchroom boxing show, it was an event where the Frank Warren boxing show, it was a fight. When you fight on these big shows, the money's at the main event and it trickles down. And this is why the fights don't happen.
Welcome back to Take a Seat. This is the #1 channel for mindset and motivation. We have all sorts of people coming on this podcast, whether they're entrepreneurs, high-profile sports people, and celebrities. Today's no different. But before we get into this one, make sure you smash the subscribe button and make sure you drop a like while watching this podcast. Today's guest is a phenomenal one. He has such an inspirational story. He's recently just been on Sky Sports, boxing, and I want to go through all of his journey. So please welcome Ohara Davies.
Good to be here.
How's it going, bro?
It's going good. I haven't been in the gym in about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. So I'm just having fun, enjoying my time off, and just, I'm just getting to know myself now.
I heard you're indulging a bit, bro.
Listen, my diet's been absolutely crazy.
What's been going on? What's been going down, shall I say?
Listen, I've been eating everything. I've just been enjoying myself. I've been having fun. To be honest, I spent most of my days just sat on the sofa doing absolutely nothing. Because you see, being an athlete, especially being a boxer, my life is so gym, banging, hard work, interviews, this, that, events. And since the fight's been done for a few weeks, I've been sat on the sofa, I've been bored. And I've been enjoying being bored because I don't get the chance to be bored, to eat what I want. And it's the simple things in life that I really miss the most. I just sit on the sofa all day. I play FIFA. I play Fortnite on the PS5. People think I've got this extravagant lifestyle. Listen, I'm sat at home playing Fortnite all day. And it's such a misconception as to our lives and as to how we are. But I'm here to be real.
I love that, man. I really do. Like, people don't know what the life of a boxer is sort of really like. Like my vision is you're training all the time. You're getting up 4 o'clock in the morning, going for your runs, concentrating on your diet. Then you're going to go for a second sparring session and doing some weight training. What is it really like?
Like, when people say that the life of a boxer, there are different types of different fighters. You've got the fighters that still work a job. Boxing's a poor man's game. People think that it's a rich man's game because they know the Anthony Joshua and Whites and the Daniel Dubois and the big time fighters that's making mega money. But there's a whole another side to boxing that they don't see. They only know the top 10%. There's a whole another 90% that makes up more than the 10% that they don't see. And boxing is a poor man's game. And most fighters work a 9-to-5 job. So they get up 5 o'clock in the morning, go do their run, then they go to work. After work, they're in a gym. After gym, they go home, go to bed early, then same routine next day. They do that 5 days a week. That's what most of the fighters do. But then when you look at the other fighters that are making money, rich, the ones that we know, they live a different lifestyle. They live a lifestyle where they live in a gym and they've got the luxury of living in a gym because they're at a level where they're making good money. So when you say the lifestyle of a fighter, there are two different lifestyles because there are two different types of fighters.
Just a few months ago, we had a heavyweight boxer here, Johnny Fisher, and I asked him a question. I was like, how much do you get paid? And he went, Sean, I'm not going to answer that because I think that's a very unfair thing. I'm very fortunate that I've got a brand behind me. Dad's got a big sort of public eye watching his channel. It's all about promotion. It's all about bums on seats. And it's about sort of sometimes, I'm not saying lucky, but if you have a lot of, eyes on you and you're recognized and people want to come to your shows, you'll be pushed further. Is that true to say?
A lot of the times it is luck. A lot of the times it is luck because you've got some of the best fighters that have to like retire early because they're making no money. They got no backing behind them. Then you've got some fighters that are not so good, but they got such a big backing behind them. They got endorsements, people pushing all this money. They can sell 1,000 tickets to fight, and sometimes boxing's not fair. Sometimes luck chooses one person to give them a big brand and a big following and the promotion. Other times, other people not so much. So sometimes it is luck. But in the case of a Johnny Fisher, I would say it was luck at first, but he's got the talent and he's worked himself to he's gone a bit beyond what anyone thought he could do. Johnny Fisher was touted to be a person that he can sell tickets and he's an okay fighter, but he's worked so hard to the point where now he's a very good fighter and he's beat the odds.
You touched on Anthony Joshua and Triple D. Was you surprised by what happened in that fight?
I wasn't surprised because, listen, I've seen them spar many times. A lot of people think that AJ and Daniel Dubois don't know each other. They're from two different parts of town. We all trained in the same gym together. I've seen them spar many, many rounds together. Like when AJ was a world champion and Daniel Dubois was an amateur, like when he was a bit before he turned pro, he was only an amateur. And we trained in Sheffield in the GB squad under Rob McCracken, and AJ was a man, and Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce, Lawrence Coley, these guys were still amateur, and AJ was a man. He'll go spar Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, and someone else, like 4 rounds, and he was a man. The spars was always quite competitive. It wasn't like AJ always got the better of them, because most times he's got to spar Joe Joyce, and then after Joe Joyce, then he got Daniel Dubois next. So the spars were hard. And it wasn't ever it wasn't ever a spar where AJ completely dominated. It was always a good spar. So based off what I've seen in the gym, I knew this fight's gonna be a hard fight. A lot of people think it's gonna just be an easy walk in the park because they're judging based on the fighter's following. You can't judge a fighter based on their following. Daniel Dubois might not be the man because he's not a brand like AJ. He ain't got the talk and the look like AJ. Therefore, AJ's a brand. Daniel Dubois is not a brand, and even till now, he's still not a brand. So I knew. I said to everyone, this fight is a 50-50 fight. It can go either way. Everyone was like, nah, AJ's gonna get him out of there in 3 rounds. But AJ fought a good fighter. If he was fighting a bum, then yeah. But he was fighting a very good fighter in Daniel Dubois. So I said to everyone, it can go either way.
Do you think it's a case of like AJ is expected to win? He's doing his normal training, but Triple D's had something to prove. He's the young, hungry lion, just been given the IBF title, and he's probably thinking, I don't want to go in there, lose it straight away. If I beat AJ, I become the man. Is it two different mindsets?
AJ's hungry. I know AJ. AJ's got a mindset. He's always hungry. Even though he's made millions upon millions upon millions, he's still hungry. And he works in the gym like it's his last fight. AJ's hungry. So we can never say AJ wasn't taking it too seriously and Daniel Dubois was hungry. Like, nah, they was both just as hungry. AJ wants to achieve so much and he hasn't achieved even the half of what he wants to achieve. In my eyes, he's like achieved so much, and everyone's like, wow. But in his eyes, AJ's never satisfied. I know him, and you see him in the gym, and he doesn't think about, I've got all this money. He just drives a normal car. He just wears normal clothes. He likes hanging around with the poor people and the amateur boxers and the kids, and he doesn't see himself as a man. So in his eyes, he's like he wants to achieve so much. It was just that the better man won on the night. There's no reason why AJ lost. This is why people people that don't know boxing, they're trying to sit down. So why did AJ lose? Is it just like it's just like the better man won? If you put two dogs in a park and let them fight, one dog wins, the other one will get beat. It's not like, so why did this dog get beat? The better dog won. That's it. And a lot of people don't understand boxing. And this is why I don't like talking about boxing to fans, like to certain fans, because they don't know. It's just that the better man won. Like there's one man that will win, another man will lose. And at that weight class is really the first shot wins. The bar caught him first. It was a good right hand, and from then AJ wasn't the same. If AJ caught him first, then AJ most probably would have won the fight.
People were saying that he let his guard down a little bit. Was that a bit dangerous?
Yes, but it's boxing. It's boxing. Things happen. Things happen in boxing. There's no perfect fighter. Everyone's got beat. There's no one. It's not like things happen. The bar made a few mistakes because he also got caught right before the fight ended. So everyone makes mistakes. There was no one that's gonna know to do every single thing at one point. It's just boxing. People make mistakes, and that's how they get caught. In every single fight, someone makes a mistake. Otherwise, every single fight it'll be a draw. But a mistake gets made. AJ he went and put the hand down. But there's a reason why. He saw something, or he thought he saw something that wasn't there. And that's why he put the hand down. Things happen.
So talk to us about your last fight with Azim. How was that for you?
Listen, that was the most enjoyable fight of my boxing career. Even though I didn't win the fight, that was the most enjoyable fight of my boxing career. And even now, sometimes I sit down, I'm just like, I want to go back to that moment. I loved it in there. I loved every second of it. Even though I was getting hit and I was in pain, I loved every second of it. And that's the only fight in my boxing career that I could really say I've enjoyed.
Wow.
All of my other fights, I've never enjoyed them because it's so serious.
Mm-hmm.
They're so serious. My last fight, it wasn't serious. I made up my mind even before the fight. Win, lose or draw, this is my last fight. I told my brothers and my manager, they're the only ones that knew. Win, lose or draw, I'm done. And Azim's someone that I know, is like my friend. I've known him over 15 years, so there was no animosity in the build up, and it was no animosity, and I'm done. I said I'm done after this fight anyway. No, I just went in there, had some fun. I really had fun, and even though I was getting hit, I had so much fun in there. I loved it.
Part of when you fight, it's the pre-fight build-up. You're known as like being really controversial in that press conference room. Like, what are you thinking? Is there a strategy behind that? Is there like, I'm going to sell the tickets if something goes off or happen? Like, what are you thinking?
At the start of my boxing career, when I got signed to Matchroom, I was just misinformed by the wrong management. A lot of times, the people, Eddie Hearn and my managers at the time, they gave me the wrong advice to. Can I swear on here?
You can do what you like.
They gave me the wrong advice to talk some shit, because when you talk shit, it gets the bums on seats and the people want to come and watch you fight. And also, I spent my whole amateur career looking up to people like Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, and that was their personality. That was how they were, and I wanted to imitate that and make the fans hate me. So it was a number of different things as to why I was like that at the start of my boxing career. But now I just don't care. Now I'm just being myself. The last conference I had with me and Adam, they wanted me to go in there and talk some shit and get Adam a bit riled up, and because Adam's had a few fights now, but he's never fought anyone that gave him a bit of a push and pull. He never fought anyone that went and spoke shit to him. So they wanted me to be that person. I said to them before the fight was made, if you want that for Adam, then you better go get some other guys to fight him, because that's not me. I know Adam, and I'm authentic. I'm not gonna act fake and act like arrogant towards him when I like the guy. I like him. Come on, I can't pretend. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. You go get someone else to fight. They said, okay. The fight is on. So you know what I done? When the conference came, I said, you know what? If you want me to talk shit to Adam, I'm gonna talk shit to you. And I got out Ben Shalom. I got out the media. I got out Sky. I got out everyone. I told everyone about it. So I'm like, you guys want me to talk shit to Adam, but you're new to this game, Ben. So the same way that Adam hasn't had any push and pull, neither have you, Ben. You're new to this game. I was on Sky even before you. I told him I was at Sky before you was here. And that's the truth. I was at Sky before he was there. And all the media people, I don't like them anyway. So I just really spoke my mind. I said to these people, I don't like any of you motherfuckers. Don't come up to me after this press conference and ask me for an interview because I don't like you people. And that was the first time that I spoke my mind and I was authentically me. And, I loved it.
Ohara, where's that balance of sort of being politically correct, being available to brands, making money at your career, and then just being real harsh and truthful?
Being available to brands and stuff, I've really written myself off in that factor. That's why it was a massive fight. I had no sponsors. I ain't had sponsors for a while now.
How do you fund that fight?
Huh?
How do you fund the fight?
Oh,
The training.
some properties I got here and there. But we can talk about that after.
Yeah.
Listen, but it's all yeah, I ain't had no sponsors in a while. In a while, so it'll be a lot easier if you do get them because you get the money month to month to live in the gym. A lot of fighters can't afford to live in the gym because the camps are not cheap. And when you got the sponsors, it's a lot easier to box full time.
How much is a camp? How long do they last for, really?
When my camp's not really that expensive because I live in the gym anyway. Like camps are more like your healthy foods, your diet, your car insurance, your rent, your fuel, your foods, your boxing gloves, your boxing equipment, and gym memberships here and there.
What about all these other people around you? Do you not have a dietitian? Somebody who's doing the strength, conditioning, all of these?
I don't do S&C, and I don't have any.
Sorry, what's S&C?
Strength and conditioning.
Okay.
I don't do any S&C, but I do a little bit. But that's what me and my boxing coach do in the gym. We just do a circuit once a week, and that's it. Because I believe, according to your genes, some people need S&C more than other people will need S&C. And with my genes, I'm quite muscular. I'm quite naturally muscular, big. So if I do S&C quite a lot, I'm gonna get too muscular and too big, and I'll lose my speed. And that's happened before. And I get lactic acid when I punch. So then I'm in a ring and my arms are getting tired because I got too much acid, too much of So that's it. I got too much acid, and then my arms get a bit slow. So I just prefer to not do any strength work. Maybe once a week, I do a circuit here and there, and that's it. I feel good. But another fighter that might have some different genes than I've got, he would need to do S&C because he's more naturally weak, so he needs S&C 2 or 3 times a week. So someone like that might need to invest in an S&C coach, whereas me, I won't have to.
And how do you know? How do you know what's your strengths, weaknesses, what works for you?
It's all about experience. I've been boxing a very long time, and through the mistakes that I've made, I've learned. And I've had a camp where I've done S&C work, and I was so big, and the lactic acid in my arms was there, and I couldn't punch from round 3 or round 4 because my arms are just gone, and my punching speed went. So it's all about trial and error,
And what sort of things are you eating?
Oh, listen, I do my own foods. I cook my own foods. Sometimes I've got a few people here that might make my foods, but they know what a fighter should eat. Like, to be honest, your diet's not the hardest bit. Like, for boxing, a boxer doesn't have to be fit. I mean, a boxer doesn't have to be healthy. He needs to be fit. A lot of people get this misconception. They've got certain fighters that've got a dietitian and this, but like, you don't need that stuff. All you have to be is to be able to fight the rounds. If you've got a 10-round fight, be able to fight a 10-round fight. If you've got a 12-round fight, be able to fight a 12-round fight. What wins the fights at the end of the day is your skill. Your skill, your technique, your timing, and your sharpness. You being healthy doesn't give you any of that.
Or about making weight and measuring all the calories and stuff.
Yeah, so with making weight, that's good. But you might need a person to help you make your weight. I don't have to make my own weight. I've been doing this a very long time. Some fighters, they might need they might need a helping hand because they make weight quite hard. I make weight quite easy, so I've never needed a person to help me make weight. But I believe other fighters might think differently. I think a fighter doesn't have to be they don't have to be healthy. They just got to be fit. James Toney, the fighter, in his boxing career, after his work in the gym, he used to get a can of Coke and down it after every workout in the gym. And he's one of the best fighters in the world. Yeah, he goes and downs it's like a whole Coke every day. So he's someone that isn't healthy, but he was fit enough to go there and to do the rounds. And he had the skill, the technique, the sharpness, and the timing to beat the guy that sits there, that has the salads every day and stuff like that. The salads and the healthy food doesn't give you the sharpness and the timing and the technique. It's the skills that does. It's the skills that win the fight, not the healthiness. So that's my opinion. Other people, they won't agree with that, but this is what I think.
How many sort of different trainers have you had in the background coaching you how to what you need to do in your next fight, etc.?
In my career, I've had about 5 different trainers.
And how important is that person?
It's the most important thing, because the game plan is your trainer that gives you the game plan.
And they all just go and get in the ring and punch him?
In fact, listen, it's actually some guys like that. There were some boxing coaches that don't really understand boxing. So with them, they just they get you fit, you spar, you get fit, you hit the bags, you go in there and fight, and you work out, and then you work out in the ring. That's how it is sometimes in boxing. You got a few other coaches that are more technical, that will sit down, that will analyze the opponent, and that will give you a training plan based on what you're gonna be fighting against. Like at the time I fought Azim, me and my coach, we trained in the gym for someone like Azim, for the speed and for what he's got, for his attributes, and we worked according to that. Even though I didn't win the fight, I would have lost the fight even more if I just went in the gym, got fit, and just go in there and try work him out on fight night. That's not how it works out. So you need to have a coach that knows how to analyze the fight game and understands your fighting style. Because I've had certain coaches that don't understand my fighting style, and the way that they coach me is good, but not for me. Maybe for another fighter, yeah. So it's all about understanding the fighter's fighting style. For example, yeah, you look at me and you look at Lomachenko. Do you know Lomachenko?
Yes, of course.
You can't train me the same way that you go and you'll train him, because our strengths are so different. I've got long arms. I'm more a one punch KO, and I'm more one punch hurt you. Whereas the Lomachenko was more like slip, roll, fast feet. He ain't got that one bang like I've got. He's got the 5 or 6 shots. So you got to train him differently to how you're gonna go and coach me. And I've had certain coaches in the past that's only used to coaching fighters of that fight in a certain way. So when I was there, it was a bit weird for me, because I'm never gonna be this person that you're trying to make me. That's never gonna be me. I'm never gonna be a Lomachenko move, feet work, slip, roll. I'm more of a Derek Chisora, roll, bang. That's more me. So your coach is so important, but a coach might be good for one person and not good for me, because he's used to training guys like that, not guys like me. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
100.
Yeah, it's weird in boxing. I don't think there's such thing as a good coach. There's a good coach, but you can't be a good.
All of these famous sort of celebrity boxing coaches, are they better than your normal one round the corner in a boxing club like TKO's or Peacock's Gym, or do they have more experience taking all these professional fighters to where they have?
I don't think so. A lot of them only got one champion. Like, just look at Roger Mayweather. He's got Floyd. Apart from Floyd, did he coach anyone else? You see him and Jay Leon Love in the gym doing pads, and Jay Leon Love went and fought and got knocked out a few times. Or he had a few other fighters in the gym that he's with in the gym doing pads, and they got knocked out in their fights. And then, so a lot of the time they've got the one good fighter. Just look at Bomac. He's got Terence Crawford. He also trained other fighters that ain't as good as him. It's Terence Crawford.
So is that more like they have someone with a better talent that they can push? Is it talent, or is it hardworking, or?
I think it's a combination of both. One person's got natural talent that the other person doesn't. But most times it's just that this coach and a fighter gels. They just gel together. If that fighter leaves him and goes to a different coach, he's got the talent, but they might not gel so much, and he's not the same fighter.
What's your relationship like with your coach? Is it a nice one, friendly one? Are you like best friends, or is he like get in that ring and push yourself?
I think it
and
depends
let's
on
do
the
this?
fighter. Some fighters need a coach that's more like a militant, because that's how it's what helps them more. When you've got a militant coach, you feel like you're in the army. Other fighters more like a friendly approach. Yeah, this guy's my friend. We chill together after training, and so it just depends on the fighter. In boxing, there's no blueprint. There's no this is how things should be. Anyone that comes in here and that tells you this is how things should be, it's how things should be for you. But for another fighter, it's different. This is why I'm saying people don't understand boxing because there's no answer. Like, you know that 10 plus 10, 20, that has an answer. For boxing, there is no answer. There is no answer. I look at Johnny Fisher. After his fights, he's going having a Chinese and having this and having that. And then
Bosh.
on fight night, he knows how to fight. Other fighters, they can't do that because if they fight and then they go and eat some shit, it's going to affect them 6 months down the line. They can't get it out of their system. It's going to affect them. But for Johnny Fisher, it works.
Mm.
For other fighters, it doesn't work.
Ohara, what's the biggest thing that you've learned? Because you turned professional in 2014. It's 2024. That's a whole 10-year career. You know, from the first time you stepped in the ring until you're stepping out. What's the biggest thing that you've learned?
This ain't what I thought it was. That's what I've learned. It's not what I thought it was. Like before I got in, like a bit before I turned pro, I thought boxing, I thought being on the limelight, I thought being on Sky Sports, doing podcasts like this.
Yeah.
I thought doing anything and being known and having a blue tick, I thought it was gonna feel good. I thought it was gonna make you feel like, wow, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just nothing. It's nothing. And I feel like the people that I looked up to when I was young, that made it seem like, yeah, you're gonna feel like you're the man when you got some money and you got the girls and you got this, and they made it seem cool, or they made it seem like you're gonna feel good. You don't. It's just nothing.
What is it about?
Huh?
What is it about?
What about?
What is life all about? You know, if all these bells and whistles are not making you feel like, wow, like I'm going to be feeling amazing at this stage, what is that rooted feeling inside? What
makes me feel good? I believe in God. I read the Bible every day, and I read, I'm a Christian. I read the Bible. I'm a strong Christian, and this is how I find my joy. I like learning the truth, and this is how this is. Listen, I read every day. I pray every day. This is how I feel good. This is how I feel good. It's what I've been doing for many, many years, and I still do now. And in terms of like materialistic things, it never made me feel the way that I thought it would at one point.
really happy hearing that, actually, because obviously, you know, I've done quite well my life with, you know, coming from McDonald's and achieving what I have, you know, in real estate. But the only thing I really look forward to is seeing my mum, dad, and just normal things, you know, that's away from going to these posh dinners and stuff, you know. But people on the outside, they don't realize, you know, and even I'm curious when I'm looking at a boxing star, what is your sort of lifestyle like, you know? But I would like to just go back down memory lane and go back to, you know, where was you born? Where did this all start off?
Oh, I'm from Hackney.
Up the road?
Yep, not far from here. This is where I was born and raised. You know, I had a hard, a hard childhood. I've been in foster care for some years of my life.
Really? What age was you when you went foster care?
Probably from about 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, for many years I was there for. And
why did that happen?
My mum and my dad, they broke up, and my dad left, and my mum, she couldn't handle it. And, she got admitted into the hospital, and they didn't see her fit enough mentally to look after her children, so they took us away from her.
Did you have memory of that?
I got memory of everything. I remember it all.
And how did it make you feel?
At the time, it was normal because there was always some ups and downs going on in the house. Mum and dad arguing. Not my mum and dad arguing, my dad doing her wrong. There was always some memory in my house for that. So when something else happened, like they took us away from her, it's just another drama, you know. You're not like, wow, I'm traumatized. Like, no, I've been born in trauma. I've been traumatized even worse than this. Just something else going on.
Right. And so you went to care. Was you just by yourself, or did you have siblings that come with you?
Listen, they moved us around to like five different homes. One time it was just me and my brother, and they separated my other brother and my sister. So one time I didn't see them for like 6 months, and then they had houses where we were all together, and then houses where we're not together. But yeah, it was just all different houses.
And in that system, did you felt like you was cared and supported?
At the time, I didn't really think about it. Looking back now, nah, probably not.
And so as you're growing up, you go to primary school. How was life like? Was you normal child? Was it coming out?
I was always a bad youth, you know. I was always a bad youth. I got kicked out of my primary school.
Really?
Yeah.
For doing what?
Carrying a knife.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you're in primary school, you're under 11.
Mm-hmm.
What's a under 11-year-old carrying a knife around for?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I just remember getting kicked out like a month before school was about to end. A month before everyone leaves, and you sign everyone's yearbook and their jumper. I didn't get that because I got kicked out of school right before it ended. Yeah, I was always a bad youth.
How'd you get caught?
It was in my hand. I'm in the playground. I've got a knife in my hand. How are you not going to get caught? That's the question.
Wow. And you thought that was okay to do?
I knew it wasn't okay, but I wanted to break the rules. I knew it was wrong because if it was right, everyone else would be doing it. But I didn't mind breaking the rules.
Who was your role models at that time? Your mentors?
My mentors was my mentors back then was like the guys in the hood, from Hackney, like from my area. There was a lot of guys in the estate, that smoke weed and that have the girls, and these are like the G's in the hood. It wasn't. It was more. He came to the youth club and he was doing a boxing with us in the youth club every Wednesday.
Who?
The coach back then, Tony Cisse was his name. He was a very good. He didn't turn pro. He was a good amateur fighter, and he would come there every Wednesday and do the pads, and he was getting paid. He was getting paid by the youth club. They got some government funding, so then eventually the funding stopped and they couldn't afford him no more. So he got my phone number. He took me to the actual gym. He took me to the actual gym. I go down a boxing gym and I'm doing a boxing with him, and then
But why him? Like, your friends were in the hood.
Yeah.
You were shotting. You were doing that. What's this guy mean to you?
I like the boxing. It's not about him. It's more like I'll go to the youth club and I hit the pads, and I actually quite liked it. I went to the gym a few times and I hit the pads and I liked it, and I just I kept on going. And now I'm 32 years old and I'm still doing it today. I thought it was something. It was nothing that I saw myself, doing in life as a job. It's just something I like doing. Yeah, go there, hit the pad, bang, bang. It's just something you like doing.
Yeah. Did he see a talent in you?
I wasn't talented. No, other people were more talented. Yeah, because in the hood, the first week there was about 30 of us there, and listen, these guys were good. They had that natural talent. I wasn't one of the good ones. I used to go and spar them and get my ass whooped every time. I was getting beat every time, but these guys were good. But what they didn't have was the consistency. That's the only difference. I was the consistent one. Imagine these guys had that consistency. They'll be far past anything that I got to in boxing. They'll be far past there, but they just wasn't consistent, and I wasn't talented. I was just consistent.
Did you follow something that made you more consistent? Something that made you keep turning up and going, look, I must come here, when you had other options to do, like maybe link a chick or hang out in the hood with your guys and stuff? What made you go, right, every, I don't know, Tuesday, I need to be here hitting pads?
I just liked it. I guess I liked it more than they liked it. I just liked it more than them. But then because of that, I didn't sell weed no more. I didn't want to do the drugs no more. I wasn't making no money. So it kind of put me down in a way, because the guys from the hood, they were still there all the time, and they had the girls, they had the cars, and they're selling weed, so they got some money. I had nothing. I went to sign on job seekers allowance. I was getting £50 a week off the government, and I used to use that to get myself to and from the boxing gym.
Well, so where was the motivation coming from?
I used to watch boxing every night.
Who you watching?
Floyd versus Ricky Hatton, and I was watching the 24/7, the documentary. I watched it every single day, to the point where I knew every point what happens in a fight. I knew what the commentator's going to say from the start until the end. I knew what he says, when he's going to say it on the 24/7. I knew what he's going to say in what minute of that documentary, everything. I watched it so many times. I watched it every day for months. Every day I sat down, I watched the same thing. And I think back now and I'm like, how did I not get bored? Watching the same thing every day. I don't know why. I didn't even watch no other fights. Floyd's got many fights. I watch that one fight every fucking day, man. Fucking hell.
It shows your passion for it. You know what I mean? That's like me when I watch, obviously watch your fights, obviously, but Mike Tyson, like that whole era, man, of him coming up, winning the WBC belt. It's just like, I can watch it again and again and again. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand. So, as you got better, you went to another gym then after this started dying down?
After Tony Cisse, I was always with him, but also I joined the Repton, the Repton Boxing Club. So I was at Tony's gym on the side, and I was at the Repton Boxing Club a few times a week, and I boxed under the Repton Boxing Club.
Okay, and what was the difference?
It was the same thing really. Whereas in Tony's gym, with just me, him, and a few others, in the Repton Boxing Club, there was more fighters there. It was a boxing club, whereas in Tony Gym, it was like a few friends, a bunch of friends, me, Anthony Yard, Uma Sadiq, Ultra Patrick, Will Purcell. There's a few friends that go there and train together. Whereas in a Repton Boxing Club, it was more like a hardcore boxing gym.
Tell me a bit about that route, that path, that journey. How did the come up happen on the way to, going to professional? Did you have to have amateur fights, white collar fights? What was your sort of first professional or amateur fights that
As
you
an
had?
amateur fight, I had 18 amateur fights. I won all 18 fights as an amateur. When I look at now, I think I turned pro too early because most fighters now that are the good pros, they had over 100 amateur fights.
Like
The
you said.
amateurs is where you make your mistakes. The amateurs is where you make your mistakes, trial and error. You learn what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and you're more experienced in the ring. Whereas I had it was just 18. Whereas I couldn't afford to be amateur for that long because there was no sponsors. So I took a risk and I turned pro early because I can't be in job seekers for the rest of my life, can I?
And how does that opportunity of turning pro look like? Like I'm in the gym, I'm training, you're giving me amateur fights. How do I get onto a pro scene?
In boxing, anyone can turn pro. Even you can turn pro if you want. Boxing's easy to turn pro. It's not like football where you have to get a scout and stuff, In boxing, anyone can just go and get the form, have a few amateur fights, and you get the form, you sign the form, and you go pro. But then the hard thing in the pros is to get a deal. Anyone can go pro. What's the hard thing is to get a deal with a promoter like Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren, someone that's going to put you on the big stage on the TV. That's the hard bit. But anyone can go pro. But at me, I trained under Tunde, Tunde Ajayi, Anthony Yard's coach.
Okay, yes.
I trained with him for like many years, and then we decided to say, you know what, let's go pro. I was trained with Tunde for maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years at the time, and then we decided to go pro when I had my first few fights under him.
Okay, and how do you come across Matchroom Boxing, or how did they come across you?
So that was through my friend James Argent. James Argent. He's from the Only Ways, Essex.
Yeah,
I met him in Las Vegas many years ago when I was an amateur boxer. And when me and Tunde I had my first few fights under Tunde on the small hall shows. And after we ended, James said to me, you know what? Why don't you come and train with my friend's dad, Tony Sims? And, just come. So he phoned up Sims and, I went to the gym and I sparred Ricky Burns. Ricky Burns is like one of my idols from years ago. And I sparred him. Even to meet him, I was like, fucking hell, Ricky Burns, because these people don't know. They think that I'm this Ricky Burns. I've been knowing about him for years. I used to watch him. I used to watch all his fights. And now I'm in the same gym as him. Like, fucking hell. And then I'm actually going to spar him. Mad.
How did that go?
Good. I done good in that spar. And then
does that give you confidence?
Yeah, it gave me confidence to know what I can achieve, that I can get somewhere in boxing, So after the spar was done, Tony Sim sat me down and he said, you know what? If you want to turn pro, I was pro. He said, you know what? If you want to come with me, I'll get you fighting October 11th on the Annie Joshua undercard. I was like, what do you mean you'll get me fighting on the Annie Joshua undercard on Sky Sports and the Eddie Hearn show? Like, what do you mean? Like, how? Like, you can't do that. I'm like, I can. You want to come with me? This is your fight. I was like, how? I was like, yeah, cool, innit? But in my mind, I didn't think it can really happen. Is that you sitting here and you're saying to me, I'll make you a millionaire by tomorrow. I'll make you a billionaire by tomorrow.
I can't, but
I'm thinking how?
Yeah.
So then I go home, I'm on Twitter, and then Eddie Hearn follows me. I'm like, fucking hell.
Is this real?
Yeah, I'm like, fucking hell. I'm like, whoa. Anyway.
Did you hear pound signs?
I wasn't thinking about the money back then. But he followed me and I was like, wow, this can actually work. And me and Sims, we were together for many, many years and had many fights under him.
So when that first contract comes up or the first fight comes up, what is the money side of things? Obviously, you're thinking, look, I'm going to get on a good show, I'm getting a good undercard. Does that money conversation happen at all, or contract?
When you're at that stage of your boxing career, you're not thinking about the money because it's different if you've done the Olympics, like what AJ done. If you do the Olympics and you make a big name for yourself as an amateur, then you think about the money side of things. I'm going to turn pro, bang, what's the deal? When you're from the hood like me, You was in the hood a few years ago. You had only 18 amateur fights. No one knows you. You didn't go on the Olympics or win some big thing as an amateur. I'll fight for free on your show, mate. Just get me on there. I don't care. I'll fight for free. So the money was never a thing. I'm just happy. I'm just happy to be here. I'm at events. I'm seeing George Groves and these people. Or they got George. I'm like, fuck it up. I know who you are. I know who you. Fucking hell. Look, he's here. I was like madness, and it's like, yeah, the money weren't a thing. The money weren't a thing. But obviously, in your first few fights, you don't get paid much at all, unless you've done some big thing as an amateur. But I was happy just to be there.
What's not much mean? $1,000?
Maybe a bit here and there, yeah, about that amount, yeah.
Weird.
Like I said to you, boxing's a poor man's game, and many people saw me fighting on Sky Sports on the Anthony Joshua undercard, and they're thinking I'm making all this money. Nah, mate, you make more money getting a job, and that's the truth of it. You make more money getting a 9 to 5 job. And out of everyone that I was with in the Simsy gym, I was the only one that was getting paid less. I was getting half of what everyone else got. At that time, you get paid per round, so you maybe, let's say you might, as an example, let's say a fighter might get paid £1,000 a round or £2,000 a round. So if you're fighting a 4-round fight, £1,000 a round. If it's a scheduled 8-round fight, £1,000 a round. I was getting half of what everyone else would get.
Isn't that an incentive not to knock the other person
No,
out?
because I'm talking about if it's a scheduled fight. So if it's a scheduled 8-round fight, even if it ends in round 1, you get paid for the scheduled rounds.
Paid. Okay.
So I was getting half of what everyone else got. But at the time, I didn't care. I'm happy to be here, mate. You think I care? And also, I knew it's not about what I'm earning now. It's all about the future goal. If I'm as good as I think, and I'm gonna get to where I think I will get to, then then the money will come. I'm not thinking about what I'm getting right now because it's not going to be much anyway. Even if I get paid 3 times what I get now, it's not going to be much anyway. So just be happy with whatever you got and work on getting to the top, and that's when the money will come.
That's a great mindset to have, but kids these days don't have that mindset. They're like, "Oh, what do you want me to do? How much I want getting? No, I'm not getting up for that."
That's why these kids ain't going to get anywhere in boxing, because they think, I'm going to turn pro and make all this money. And like, nah, mate, boxing's a poor man's game. Like I said, people only know the top 1%, the Anthony Joshua's. Yes, you're not going to be on their money. You're not going to get anywhere near their money. You will fight on the undercard and not get anywhere near them, not even a 1% of what they make, because it trickles down. All the money's at the top when you fight on these big shows. The money's at the main event, and it trickles down, 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 down.
And when did that first paycheck come in?
What first paycheck?
The one that had a few more zeros on it.
When I fought Derry Matthews, that was the first okay paycheck. And after that fight, I went and got a car. I went and got an Audi I went and got I had an Audi A5. Before that, I had one of those small little Volkswagen Polos, the one, where you go at 60 miles an hour and it starts to shake. I was driving down the motorway to the gym. I get to 60 miles an hour and the car starts to shake. I didn't care.
What are you doing 60, bro? Better be on the motorway.
I was, and the car started to shake. But listen, I didn't care. At least I'm not getting a train to the gym anymore. So I've always just been thankful.
So you treated yourself to a car?
Yeah.
After the Derry Matthews. Talk to me about fighting Derry Matthews. How was that fight for you?
That was a good fight. But I think it was after that fight everything changed. It was after that fight everything changed, because like before the fight, where I looked up to my idols, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, and at the conferences they always gave their all, and they had that back and forth with the fans, and and this is what I've always looked up to. And that was my first fight where I'm in that. I go to Liverpool, I'm with David Hay, my big time idol, and we're going against them. And this is where I gave it. This is where I love that, the whole build up for that fight. But after the fight, I've achieved it now. I've done it. Even though it's just the once, I've done it. Even though it wasn't on a massive scale, I've done it, and it didn't feel as good. And I fell out of love with that kid. I fell out of love with the game after that fight. After that fight, it was just about the money.
Talk to me about your first loss.
Josh Taylor.
Yeah, Josh Taylor. How did that feel?
What feel? The loss?
Yeah, you lost your all.
Yeah, didn't feel good, obviously. It didn't feel good. I wasn't depressed or nothing. It didn't feel good, but I knew that the build up for that fight wasn't the best. I didn't train properly for that fight. I didn't watch him not once. I didn't watch him once. I didn't train properly. I didn't do what I was meant to do. I was doing weights and so much S&C work for that camp for the first time. And
Why?
because my coach at the time thought that it's a hard fight, so let's get some new things in that you haven't done in the past. Good. But I kept doing it because I wanted to listen to my coach. But I had the lactic acid in my legs and my arms, and I felt so heavy in a fight, and I weren't training properly. And listen, I just fought Dave Matthews in March. I just got okay money. I'm getting girls now. I'm going outside and they're calling me handsome. Let me, and then I thought Taylor, it was in July. So let me enjoy my life. So now that I think back, it's like, let me enjoy a few months off. Let me make some mistakes. Let me enjoy the women and going out and being able to drive an Audi A5. I should have been able to enjoy that before getting right back in the gym to go fight a hard fight. But now when I look back, I'm like, it was too soon. I should have made those mistakes and then fought in a hard fight. But I didn't get the time. But that's all experience. Now that I look back now, that's what I would have changed.
So how do you handle that? You're getting these big paychecks, you're seen on TV, you're getting all the limelight, you know, and then the girls are coming. How do you handle that?
For different fighters, is different. It's different. Like with me, I never got girls in my life. I never got no girls. So now I can get girls now. Listen, I was on it. I was on it. But then you got look at other fighters like me and Anthony Yard are good friends. Anthony Yard's a good-looking guy, and like someone like him, it'll be different because Anthony Yard's always been a good-looking guy, and he always got girls from even before he turned pro. The girls liked him. So if someone like that, he would handle it a lot more differently than I would because it's not new to him. It's not new to him, but to me it was new. I'm like fucking hell. I'm like a kid in a candy store. But to other fighters, it'll be different. So it just depends on the kind of fighter. But the kind of person like me who didn't get girls, fucking hell, it was good. To other fighters that always got girls, they'll handle it better than I did.
So a trip to Miami or something?
I've done that as well. I've done that.
I heard you sent someone home and then called somebody else over.
That's when I was in Miami, yes. I sent her home. And then I had a girl in Atlanta, Georgia, and I flew her over to where I was and spent the rest of the time with her. Yeah.
Ruthless.
Crazy. Listen, I was doing absolute madness. And yeah, but listen, when I look back now, it was mistakes, but it's all experience, you know. This is things that I can now talk to other people about, so they will make the same mistakes. Because listen, the time I didn't pro, like there was no one like me. There was no one that comes on that gets on a podcast and talks about their mistakes. Everyone's taught to be clean cut and say good things for the branding, and you know. But then, how are the other people going to learn from the mistakes that you've made? Everyone hid their lifestyle. They hid everything. So I had to make the mistakes. I want other people to look at my mistakes and learn from my mistakes. That's why I don't let no one tell me what I can and can't say. That's why I didn't tell you to ask me. I mean, that's why I didn't ask you about what questions I'm going to be asked. Because you asked me what question, if I can't answer it, I'm going to say, I can't answer it, you know. Because I want to be real. This is it. You have to be real. And this is it. And it's worked against me, but it's worked for me in a sense where it's going to help so many other fighters that's from where I'm from that might turn pro, because they're going to make the same mistakes that I've made, but they will see my podcast, they will see my interview, and they say, fuck it, I ain't going to do that.
While we're on this topic, there's been a new presidential election and we've got Donald Trump coming. What do you think of Donald?
I like him.
He's very outspoken, isn't he?
Donald Trump says what he wants, man. He says what he wants, and you know, I think America did good under him. You know, the economy done well under Joe Biden. I don't really know what happened there, but I think under Donald Trump, I think the economy done well. And if he can continue that form, you know, America could be great again. Who knows?
Well, one thing I know, Bitcoin did really well.
Bitcoin did well. Listen, Bitcoin did well. Bitcoin went up because you know that Trump endorses Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Trump says good things about, you know,
He's all
about
up
the
for
whole
it.
cryptocurrency, and you know, so when he got put into power, it went up because everyone's thinking, bang, this might be the time for Bitcoin to rise. And I do know about Bitcoin. I know about the whole, you know, cryptocurrency. I had some in the past. I've made money from there. I've lost money on there. So I'm an experienced Bitcoiner.
So look, you're at the height of your career. You know, even though you're coming off a loss, round about 2018 comes and you get a message to say put a tweet out. You know, and all of a sudden it feels like everyone's against you at this time.
2017.
17, sorry, my bad.
It's
Like,
okay.
can you talk to me about that
Listen.
stage? Because, like, you're a person. Mental health is real. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got like all of a sudden you're famous, you're like a celebrity or sportsman, people are backing you up, cheering you up. You're like, cool, I'm that guy. And the next minute you've said something that people have deemed to say, why is he saying that? And then everyone's against you. Can you talk to me?
Listen,
What's
I was in the gym that day. I had a good sparring session. I come home and then I get a text from my manager, a screenshot of what Eddie Hearn sent him. Get Ohara to send the tweet to this person so we can make this fight happen between me and that Tommy Cole. They wanted to make the fight happen, so they wanted me to talk some shit to get the fight riled up. So what I said was, once I knock you out, my first interview is gonna be with the newspaper, The Sun, and then the next thing, everyone's I'm getting slated left, right, and center, and I'm thinking, what's going on? Right, what's The Sun done? Like, and then but I didn't know about what happened in Hillsborough, where apparently The Sun said some stuff about the 96 people that died in Liverpool. Do you know about Hillsborough?
Yeah, I've sort of heard about it.
But you don't know
People
anything about
died.
it, you see?
No.
And so how do I know anything about it? When I'm when I box, I don't know anything about football. Even to now, I can't name you 10 Arsenal players, even 5, even 2. And I support them, and I can't name you 2. I can't name you anyone there. So I know that Tommy Cole doesn't like The Sun because The Sun exposed him that he's been employing a few criminals and stuff to work in his gym. That's why he doesn't like The Sun. And also, Tommy Cole's from Hull. This event happened in Liverpool. So where was the connection made between me and the Hillsborough, and I'm disrespecting the family of the 96 people that died? How was that link made or that connection made? How? And then there's no way to make that. So it was some boxing fans went and made that connection somehow, and then the public ran with it. And then Eddie Hearn spoke to me, and he was like, I explained to him, he was like, yes, I believe you. I believe you're innocent. I know you didn't know anything about Hillsborough. I'm like, I don't know shit about Hillsborough. What the fuck is Hillsborough? I had to Google it myself. And Eddie Hearn said, I believe you. I know you're right, but I need to throw you under the bus. I said, why? He said, because because I've got many fighters that are from Liverpool. I've got many boxing shows in Liverpool, and we make a lot of money from that city. So if I'm gonna be honest and act like I believe you, I'm losing out on some money now because I make good money there. So I need to throw under the bus to continue making my money in Liverpool. And I was like, wow. So he threw me under the bus. He acted like I'm banned from the Matchroom gym. He took me off the boxing show. He said, don't worry, I'm going to take you off this show, but I'm going to put you on the next show. I'm like, it's not about that. It's about, if you believe me, then go out there and say, this is my fighter and I believe him. He was like, nah, I've got to put my business first. I need to throw you under the bus. So he threw me under the bus. And I left Matchroom after that. I left my manager. I left my coach. And I lost all my sponsors after that. Everyone gone. Imagine that. I spent my time with these guys. I lost everything. My manager, coach, promoter, and my sponsors. Everything. I have to start again. That's when I signed to MTK. I signed to Frank Warren. Got a new coach, a new promoter. Everything I got new. And it was a very hard time for me because, it was a very hard time because I was the most hated athlete in the world. We're not talking about in the UK. I was the most hated athlete in the world at that time.
How could you walk around?
It was hard.
Did you ever get any hate outside?
Nah, because everyone knows it's online. That it's fine if you go online and you talk some shit online, but if you see me in person and you try to talk some shit, we both know that how that's not gonna work. I'm not one of those guys that you can come on that you can see in person and try to talk shit about, because you try to put it on me, I'll put it on you, and that's till this day. Everyone knows that about me. I respect you, but when you see me outside on the streets, show some respect, because I'm gonna show you some respect as well. So anyone that saw me outside, it was like, yeah, I believe you. You're such a nice guy, and then I'll go online and write, I'm a cunt. But I don't mind that what you say online. But just in person, show some respect. And in person, there's no one in person that's giving me any disrespect yet.
Did anyone disrespect you in the boxing scene that you saw them tweet and you're like, oh, when I see him on the next boxing show?
Many fighters did. Many fighters that are from Liverpool did. You know, Tony Bellew, Liam Smith, and many fighters that I'm cool with. It was like the trend, the hate Ohara trend. You know, when you hate me and you write some bad things about me, people are gonna endorse your tweet. So it was, you know, it was a trend to hate me, and that's what it was.
Wasn't Frank Warren and Queensbury like afraid to sign you?
No, Frank Warren wasn't afraid to sign me. This is why I signed to Frank Warren, because Frank Warren was like, Ohara Davies is innocent and we believe him. This is why I signed to Frank Warren. And I remember before I signed to him, Eddie Hearn phoned me. Eddie Hearn tried to get me, because what happened was I left my manager first. When I left my boxing manager, I signed to MTK Global. And when I signed to MTK, we got announced I'm signed to MTK. That's when Eddie Hearn phoned me. And then Eddie Hearn was like, listen, I'm in the Matchroom office. If you want to come and see me, we can sit down and have a chat. And I know how Eddie Hearn is. He's got his ways. He's a businessman. When he sits down with you, he knows how to win you over. I said, nah. I said, I'm free for a phone call, but I'm not going to come and see you. So he phoned me. He was like, listen, you started off your boxing career with us, and we've turned you into the star that you are now, and we want you to continue your boxing career on the Matchroom. Even if you're not training with Sims anymore, it's fine. I'll speak to him, and because you know that they're close, Eddie Hearn and Tony Sims, they're both good friends. So I thought, if I'm not with Sims, is that going to be an issue? He said, nah, I'll sort it out, don't worry. I would like you to continue your boxing career on the Matchroom. I said, okay, cool, let me have some time to think. I took some time to think. I thought, nah, you threw me under the bus. I'm going to Frank Warren. So I went to Frank Warren. It got announced. The next day, Eddie Hearn come on Fight Hype. I feel like we had to let Ohara Davies go because his image, it didn't fit what we represent as a brand. And I'm thinking, I got text messages on my phone and my WhatsApp of you begging me to sign to you, offering me a free fight deal. I was gonna put it online and expose him, but I thought, nah, let me not be the one to expose phone calls and text messages. I just left it.
Is Eddie Hearn a good guy?
Eddie Hearn's a very nice guy. Listen, I know Eddie Hearn well, but me and Eddie Hearn were actually cool. He used to come down the gym. He used to come down the gym, train with us, do some body sparring, and then sometimes after gym's done, I'll go down to the Matchroom office, sit down with Eddie Hearn and Frank Smith, and I'll sit with them in the office. We'll have a chat about life or about girls or about anything. Eddie Hearn's a lad. Eddie Hearn's a nice guy, and as much as I don't like him because of what happened in a business sense, he's a nice guy.
And it was just purely business. He's protecting his business because...
And that's what I understand to this day. I understand it. So even though I left him and I went to Frank Warren and he lied, I do understand why he lied. It's just business, isn't it? But as a I've always liked Eddie Hearn. I've always liked him.
Can you tell us what's the difference between Matchroom and Queensbury?
Now they're like the same thing now because they're all going under Turkey in Saudi. So now they're kind of almost the same thing. Frank Warren's assigned to the zone now, so he's left, the whole BT Sports. So now they're going to be like the same thing. But back then, it was different because Matchroom had the showmanship. A Matchroom boxing show, it was an event. Whereas the Frank Warren boxing show, it was a fight. Where in the Matchroom shows, you've got all the celebrities that are there. You got the loud music and the lights, the camera actions. You feel like it's an event. I'm a famous person. I'm in a music festival. It's exciting. Even if there's no fights, it's just exciting. In a Frank Warren show, it's more like there's no lights, camera action, there's no music. It's just a fight. You're here for a fucking fight. And you have to be a fight fan. Whereas to go to, you couldn't take your girl on a date to a Frank Warren show, but you could take your girlfriend on a date to a Matchroom show. That's the difference. A Matchroom show was an event. A Frank Warren show was a fight.
You think Eddie Hearn was behind that?
Absolutely, because Frank Warren is more old school. Frank Warren is more from the old school, generation. You won't see Frank Warren in a club, trying to boogie and get it down. But you see Eddie Hearn there. So it's more Eddie Hearn's character. Eddie Hearn's more, a lad. Frank Warren's not a lad. Frank Warren's more a businessman. Let's get down to business. Eddie Hearn's more, let's have a good time. Let's have fun. And their promotion shows. Frank Warren promotion was Frank Warren. Matchroom show was Eddie Hearn.
So talk to me about this second path that you've gone on.
Mhm.
So you've signed to Queensbury now. How did how is your training different, your management, because you've changed the whole
Yeah.
team now?
Mhm.
Did that affect you?
That didn't affect me, no, because I signed to MTK Global. I got a new coach. I had a very good coach at the time, and then me and Frank, we had a 3-fight deal. And after the 3 fights were done, we didn't continue. We parted ways after the 3 fights were done. I fought Catterall in my last fight with Frank Warren, who I beat, and I got robbed in that fight.
You got robbed.
I got robbed badly in that fight, badly. And after that, I didn't continue under Frank Warren.
Why do you think you got robbed? Is there a lot of politics in boxing?
I got robbed because Catterall was signed to Frank Warren from his first fight. I was just a passerby. Everyone knows me. Matchroom made me. Even though I'm signed to Frank, even though I was signed to Frank Warren, I'm not really a Frank fighter. I'm more a Matchroom fighter that's signed to Frank Warren. I was more the showman. I wasn't the Frank Warren fighter, and Jack was. So it was in everyone's best interest for Jack to win because I had a 3-fight deal with Frank. Jack had a long-term deal with Frank. It was in everyone's best interest for Jack to win, and it was in Jack's own hometown. Come on, it was in their best interest for him to win. It's just business. I understand it.
So how do you feel now as a fighter, knowing all these politics and you can lose just because someone else is more favorite?
Knowing that now, it don't make me feel good about boxing, but I haven't felt good about boxing for a long time.
And what's been happening in between these fights, these breaks?
Between these breaks, between which fight? Because in between each fight, I was a different person. Like the person I am after the Azim fight is different to the person I was after I fought. After I fought, like Dave Matthews. After I fought Dave Matthews, I was out with the girls and buying a car. After this fight, nah, none of that. So, you have to. After every fight, I'm a different person because we only fight 2 times a year or so, and so much happens in a year. You learn so much and you change so much. You're a different person after each fight.
You mentioned Kali Sheikh, like he's changed that game of boxing a lot. Like a lot of fighters are starting to fight a lot more regular now. It's like he's able to make them fights happen very quickly, whereas in the past talks would happen, get postponed, you'll have a different fight. I'm waiting too long. What do you think of him and what he's doing for the sport and the way the sport? Yeah, we've had Wembley Stadium, a big event there, but a lot of it's happening in the Middle East. Like, what do you think of boxing moving away from the UK?
It's all about money. Boxing's all about money, and if the money's in the Middle East, that's where the fighters are gonna go. If the money's here, it's where the fighters will go. And it's good for boxing because now the fighters are getting paid what they should get paid, whereas we've been fighting for chicken change for such a long time. And this is why the fights don't happen because there's not enough money in it. But now, you know what Seiku's doing? He's saying, I'm going to pay you guys what you deserve. This is why we get the best fighting the best. You got Deontay Wilder fighting a heavyweight. He's got Usyk fighting AJ. He's got the Fury against Usyk. He's got all these big fights happening because he pays the fighters what they should get paid, and it's good. It's good for boxing, and and I'm happy for the fighters. I'm very happy.
Every time you go into the ring,
Mm.
You are putting your life on the line.
Mhm.
We've even had, Michael, who came on the podcast, Michael Watson, he came on the podcast, but obviously he had a fight with, Eubank and hit the ropes, isn't it? So that's, Nick Blackwell, when he fought Eubank as well, these people have been seriously injured in the sport, and have they really been compensated?
Absolutely not. It's like, listen, in boxing, you fight a fight, you get brain damage or something happens, you're not the same. What they say is, yes, he was a good fighter. He gave us some good fights. Okay, cool. On to the next one. On to the next champion. People don't care about the fighters. The fans don't care. The fans, they want to get that one night of fix. They want to get the fighting fix. And on to the next one. They don't care whether we get brain damage or not. There's no governing body, whereas if you get brain damage, they look after you and they give you money for the rest of your life if you can't work. That's not how it is. That's not how it is nowadays. You get brain damage, something happens to you. Well, you had a good run.
Yeah.
You got the belt, you got the name. People know you. You're a good fighter. Thumbs up. That's what it is. That's the reality.
That's what Watson told me as well. You know, he was like, they didn't even call me back to these award ceremony. They would normally, it's like, it's done now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Boxing's brutal. Boxing is a brutal game, and people need to know what they're getting involved in. People need to know what they're getting involved in. Nowadays, people don't know what they're getting involved in.
Can I ask you, what was your toughest fight in the ring?
Taylor, when I fought Taylor, listen, I couldn't do what I wanted to do properly. I couldn't do what I wanted to do properly because I had too much lactic acid. I couldn't punch. My legs were gone early in the fight, and I was getting hit with so many shots. And then my nostrils, I couldn't breathe properly. I had a perforated eardrum because he caught me with a good shot in my ear. Oh, I hated that fight.
And so when you have that loss, like, how do you bounce back from that loss, that failure in your life?
If I don't bounce back, then what else am I gonna do? What else am I gonna do? I didn't do my GCSEs. I got kicked out of my secondary school. I got kicked out of my primary school. I don't know how to do anything. I've never worked a normal job in my life. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to use the computers. I don't know how to do the coding. I don't know how to be a businessman. I've never worked in a job before. What else do I know how to do? But listen, you go back in the gym and you try again. If there was something else I knew how to do, maybe I would have said, you know what, this boxing shit's kind of hard, you know. I got something else. Let me go do that. There's nothing else there's nothing else that I know.
But
How
do you get up, Ohara, and you're like, oh, I've lost yesterday, you know? How do I restart now? Where do I go from here? Like, I've got blemish on my record.
I don't know. You just got to do. I just done naturally what I know how to do. All that I know is how to box. And the people, they laugh at you, they write bad things about you. You just got to walk through the pain. You got to have thick skin.
And
You can't be
trolling.
taught. You can't be taught how to have thick skin. Either you got it or you don't have it. But if I didn't have thick skin, then what else am I gonna do? Keep boxing and do what? Boxing's all I know.
What about for men's mental health? Is there anything out there for you to talk to somebody? Because men don't, you know, discuss their feelings or how they're feeling, or people go, "You're a pussy, bruv," if you're talking like that, rather than like women have circles where they're going, "It's all right, come to this thing, let's talk about it."
Boxing's a hard man's game. Boxing's a hard man's game. There ain't no mental health. We don't need no mental health. No, we need mental health. That's why we're in boxing in the first place. Because we're not mentally right anyway. That's why we got into the game in the first place. Listen, boxing is such a barbaric sport. There's nothing that's gonna get you mentally prepared to go in there and do battle with another man in front of thousands watching that are coming to boo you and that cheer once you get knocked out, that want you to get knocked out, and you got to fight. There's nothing that's gonna help you prepare for that. You either got it or you don't. You just go in there and you fight. And it's the same thing. When you get beat, there's no one that's going to sit you down and tell you something that's going to make you feel good about your loss. No, you're going to feel shit. You feel shit today. Tomorrow, you're going to feel even more shit. And the next day, you're going to feel even more shit. But you got to find it in yourself to get up from your bed and go to the fucking gym. Because if you don't, that's on you. And ain't no one coming to help you. You're on your own. You're by yourself. Yes, you got people there for you. I've got my friends and my brothers and my family. But what can they say? You got to be, you're going to come back stronger. What are you going to say that's going to make me feel any better? There's nothing you can say. Either I've got to find the strength in myself or I'm going to quit. That's it. There's nothing anyone can say.
Did you like playing the villain role? Being hated?
I loved it. Because this is what my idols done. Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather. You know, when I look at Floyd, this is what these guys done. I wanted to be the villain. I wanted to get booed. I loved it. Now when I got older, I don't love it because it's not me. I'm not that villain. I'm just me. That's why now I'm just authentic now. I'm just me. Whether you love me, and I find out that I get loved now when I'm just me. Like people love me.
It's okay to be.
yeah. People love me. But I got to a point where I've said, you know what? I don't want to be like my idols. I want to be me. I want to be myself, and that's what I am now. And the people love me because of they love me now because of it. But whether they love me or they hate me, I don't really care anyway. As long as my true friends love me and my true people love me, that's all I care about.
So what happens life outside of boxing now?
I don't know.
What's the 2.0?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, I've got different opportunities. I've got different options and different opportunities there for me. There's always going to be there's always going to be a place for me in boxing. If I'm not in the ring, there's always going to be a place for me in boxing or outside of boxing. I've got different opportunities. I just got to look at what I want to do.
You made some smart moves with some of your paychecks.
Yeah, I've got a few properties. Me and my brother. It's not just me. So we both went halves on them. So we've got a few now. My brother's been a big influence in my boxing career. He's the reason why I got into the property game in the first place, because I remember being at mum's house. I was going to get the BMW i8, and he came to the house and he came to the room and he was like, "Listen, I heard you on the phone. You're going to go get the car and you're going to park it outside mum's house. By tomorrow, the car will be gone." He said to me, "Why don't you go get your own flat and go park the car in your own flat, in your own driveway?" Then a few days later, he said to me, "Listen, if you want to get a flat, I'll go halves for you." That's when I was like, "Okay, cool. I got the money to do it myself, but if you go halves with me, at least I ain't got to spend it all." So we went halves on the first flat. Then I had a fight. I got paid now. I said, "You know what? I'm gonna get the car now." Then I sat down. I said, "Wait, if I get the car, I've got to pay for the petrol, the car insurance. I've got to service it. The mileage on the car is gonna break down. I've got to pay it. But if we get another flat, that means we can put this flat on rent, move into that flat, and then we can make money." So I said, "Either I can spend money to make money, or I can spend money to spend money." I said, "Okay, cool. Let's get another flat first, and then I'll get the car after." Then we got another flat, and I had another flat after that. I didn't even think about the car since to this day. I ain't thought
That
about the car
passive
since.
income's coming in.
The passive income's good, and the property game is good, and that's my new passion now. I love the property game. I love houses. I love talking about property. I love learning about it. I love the property industry. This is a passion that I've got right now. I just need some more money so I can get some more.
Come on, bro. Got to get some of them properties refinanced.
That's it.
Equity, put some more deposits down. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Look, you've been brilliant, but I want to, before you kind of go and wrap this one up, I want some fight predictions from you. Hang on. What do you think of all of this influencer boxing?
If it makes money, it makes sense.
Yeah?
They've got more eyes, to the game. More people are into boxing now because of the influencer boxing.
It's not disrespectful?
It's only disrespectful to the fighters that haven't. No, it's only disrespectful to the jealous fighters, because they're looking at a KSI fight and they're saying, in this guy's first fight, he's making more money than I've ever seen in my life, that I'm ever gonna see in my boxing career. He's making more money than that in one fight, and they feel disrespected because of it. But I'm like, in his field, he's done so well, and he's coming into your field, and he's just gonna go and bring that same audience. So he's not taking money out of your pocket. Don't be jealous. Just gotta focus on yourself and on what you're doing, and your money will come. Don't be jealous because of him. Like, nah. I remember in my time, I've been to many fights. I've been to AJ's fights. I fought on his cards many times. I was in Vegas when Floyd fought Guerrero in the AMGM Grand. I was there. I've been to so many different fights in my time in boxing, and the biggest fight I've ever been to that had the biggest crowd was the first KSI when he fought Logan Paul. Listen, that crowd was absolutely fucking crazy. The place was shaking from the first fight, whereas nowadays the fans only come right before the final fight. That's when it gets packed. On the first fights, the fans ain't there. This place was jam-packed from the first fight. They was making noise. The ground was fucking shaking. It was in the MEN Arena that holds 18,000. It holds more than the O2, and it was packed from the first fight. If it wasn't good for boxing, how does that happen? How? It was crazy. And listen, I'm happy, I'm happy for them. It don't take anything out of my pocket. I can still go in there and make my money. It's not as much as what they make, but I'm thankful and I'm grateful for what I make. And I'm happy, and you just gotta be grateful. Anyone that says that is a disrespect, they're just jealous, because it's not like they're fighting pros. They're fighting people that are on their level, so it's okay.
Would you come back for an exhibition fight? So, like, Amir Khan came back to fight, like, sort of, well, it wasn't exhibition. He came back to fight Kell Brook, didn't he? Would you come back for a money fight?
I don't know. I've got to see how I feel, but I really got to see how I feel. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow holds, really, in my life. My life is just like, I don't know. I'm just I'm just like taking each day as it comes and just taking each day as it comes. In the meantime, now I'm looking at properties. I've had a few viewings, trying to find a new flat that I like so that I can buy it. And this is what takes up most of my days now. I'm just chilled out on the sofa looking at flats.
You know Jason Patterson?
No.
I need to introduce you. He's a short lease king.
Mm-hmm.
He buys flats on short leases. Make sure there's a section 42 served already, so you can negotiate straight away to extend the lease and force the value straight up. So I need to link you up with him. Trust me, if
this is
that's what
something
you're
that
looking at.
I thought about. I have thought about doing that. You know, houses that have got short leases. I've been seeing something like I saw one flat in Victoria, London.
Wow.
Like 180k in Victoria. You're looking at least 1 million in that area. I saw 100, but then I saw the lease had about 6 or 7 years left in it.
Yeah,
So
there's a
this
big
is something
premium.
it's something that I haven't done yet, but
Yeah.
you know, something that I've got to look into because you're able to get some, you know, like some good deals.
Absolutely.
If you do that, all you got to have is the cash to top up the lease, and you know how to top the lease up. So
exactly.
this is something that I'll be open to learning.
Definitely. So talk to me, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Is that ethically? Is that right? Mike Tyson's like 58, 59 now. Getting in the ring with a 26-year-old.
It makes money, man. It makes money.
Isn't that dangerous?
Nah, because people say that it's so dangerous, but it's got a referee there. There's a referee. If Mike Tyson's taking too many hits, the referee say fight's done. The fight will be done.
An early 60-year-old take a big right hand from, you know, another guy who's been fighting professionally now for a few fights, training his ass off. You can see it.
This is Mike Tyson we're talking about. We're not talking about any 60-year-old. We're talking about Mike Tyson. Listen, Mike Tyson's Mike Tyson. That guy is different. He's always been different. So listen, Mike Tyson could win. He could win.
Definitely.
If he's still got the punching power, then the question would be, can Jake Paul take his shots? And this is what makes this fight so exciting because this fight is not about Jake Paul. It's all about Mike Tyson. What Mike Tyson are we going to see? If he's anything from the Mike Tyson that we knew, Jake Paul's in big trouble.
Yeah. What's your prediction?
I don't know. It just depends on what Mike Tyson's like. I don't know. This is the beauty of that fight. We don't know. Boxing's so much better when you don't know. You see when you know, no one cares. When you don't know, that's when it's like, yes, I want to watch this shit.
Yeah. Well, that's just out in a week or 10 days or something. Yeah. There's two big families whose both their sons are fighting. You got the Benns, you got the Eubanks. There's a lot of talk about them two fighting. What do you think of that matchup?
You mean Conor Ben versus Chris Eubank Jr.? I don't know. It's a good fight. Eubank, when he fought Liam Smith, he looked good. But when he fought his last fight, he didn't really look too good. But then again, when he fought Liam Smith, he had Bomac in the corner. And that's why he looked so good. He had a good coach. For his last fight, Bomac wasn't his coach for that fight. So this is why Eubank wasn't the same. But it's all about what Eubank turns up against Ben. What weight is the fight going to be at? Because if they make him come down a weight, he's going to be drained. And a drained Eubank isn't a dangerous Eubank. Ben is a dangerous fighter. But Eubank's got the experience. Ben hasn't been in the ring for so long. Eubank has.
He looks like an animal though, Ben.
Ben, he is an animal.
Like he just waxed him.
Conor Ben is the animal. Conor Ben is the animal. But then again, Eubank's not a bum. Eubank's a good fighter and he's going to have a game plan. And if he's got the right coach and the right team behind him, he will learn how to nullify Ben and what he's got. What Conor does won't work against him. Maybe. This is the beauty of that fight. It can go either way. It just depends on what Eubank turns up and what Ben turns up.
Have you trained with any of them fighters?
Me and Ben was in the same camp for years. When Ben trained with Sims, the time when I was with Sims is when Conor came there. Wow. Like I was there before Conor was there. I was there. So when Conor came, I'm the first one that he came and sparred. I'm the first one that he sparred with, and he was there.
Wasn't he a little bit like, here comes a little celebrity son? He's gonna be like coming in. He's just gonna take in his stride. My dad's Nigel Benn. How was his attitude?
Nah, Conor was just a normal guy. It was just a lad. And when he was there, his dad Nigel, he was only giving him about £50 a week. I think £50 a week or less than that maybe. So he wasn't the flashy son. He wasn't like the celebrity. He was just like the poorest person in the gym, and he's just happy to be there. And I think he wasn't flashy or nothing like that. He was just a humble guy. and that's how he's always been.
Did his work ethic come through as well, or was he like, I don't have to work as hard?
Listen, Conor always worked hard. Conor always worked hard. He works overtime. He works overtime. He's in the gym. He works hard. He'll go home and he'll train some more. Even now, to this day, he trains. He's like a gym addict. You know, one of those guys that when they fight or when they don't fight, he's like a gym addict. And I don't think it's not about boxing. He's just a gym addict. If he's boxing or not, he's just like his dad. Look at his dad. His dad's always in the gym doing runs. And it's not about the boxing. It's not like I'm so consistent in my boxing and like, no, he's just a gym addict. And he happens to be in boxing and that helps him. So he's just a gym addict, but he's done very good, and I'm very proud of him. I'm glad to see where he's got to, because the time when I met him, he had no car. I had to go and get him every morning to go gym when he was at his nan's house. I had to go there in the morning and pick him up and then take him to the gym.
Wow.
And he was getting £50 a week of his dad. Now he's got his own money now. He don't need dad's money. He's got his own car now. He's got his own house. He's got his own wife and kids now. He's a man.
What do you think of that story that came up about him? You know, he failed a drug test.
I don't know. The Conor I know, that's not him. The Conor I know, that's not him. But I think he's been cleared now. So, if he's been cleared, then obviously he wasn't at fault. If he's been cleared, but I'm not with him day and night, so I don't know the ins and outs. But he's been cleared, so that obviously says something.
So you got a prediction for us out of that fight?
It just depends on what Benn and what Eubank turns up. We don't know. Anyone that says this person's going to win, they're just guessing. Boxing fans like to guess. They like, if they like Benn more, they say Benn's going to win. If they like Eubank more, Eubank's going to win. Just be real. A lot of boxing fans talk shit. They don't understand boxing. We don't know.
People are saying, that Eubank's getting older. He's getting slower. He's not that young.
It's true. It is the same with me. I'm getting older. I'm getting slower. But when you get slower, you get smarter. And Eubank doesn't need to be fast. He don't need to be that vicious fighter like he was. He just needs to be smart. So age can work for you most times. And
wow.
I think his age can work for him.
We've got Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen.
Johnny Fisher wins this fight. Come on.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably stop Dave Allen quite early as well.
Do you think inactivity is ring rust? Is ring rust a thing?
I don't think Dave Allen's ever been that guy. Dave Allen's never been a really good fighter. Dave Allen's he's known because he's a personality online and he says things that makes everyone laugh and people like him. They like him as a person, but he's never really been that guy. He's never really been that vicious fighter, good fighter. He's never really been that. He's going to come out there, he's going to give it a go, and he's going to get, he's going to get paid well. But Johnny Fisher's there to win. I feel like with Fisher, he knows this is my time. I'm here to win. Everyone knows how the script's going to go. We all know. That's not even a question. We all know how it's going to go. Like watching EastEnders, you know what's going to happen next. Johnny Fisher's going to win and
fight him down.
Yeah.
What's your predictions on Johnny Fisher coming up in the heavyweight division? Do you think has he got the attributes to become a world champion?
Thinking about Johnny Fisher, yeah, he's so humble with it. And when you speak to him, he speaks like, listen, I'm just happy to be here, and this person's my idol, and I like to fight directors, so I look up to these people. When he fights them, he will fucking go for the head. Johnny Fisher's a dangerous fighter, and he masks it, he hides it behind the humble approach. He hides it amongst the heart. You think, oh yeah, he's just happy to be here. Listen, he will take your head clean off your shoulders, mate. That guy's a dangerous fighter, and he wasn't good at the start. He was just meant to be a guy that can sell some tickets and we'll see how he gets on with the boxing. But he's fucking worked hard, man. And he defied the odds, even to get where he's got now. He's a lot better than what anyone thought he'd get to, because there was no one that saw him as that guy. Everyone said, yeah, some of the guys that can sell good tickets, but he's done good for himself. He's worked hard.
Quite humble as well. Like, I'm from, Romford, Gideon Park sort of areas, and he'll come down to, the shopping centre and come and say hi to the fans as well.
You see Johnny Fisher, he's different, man. He's different. He's such a humble guy. It don't matter where he gets or what he makes in life, because he don't forget where he came from, and a lot of times people do. This guy was a fisherman, right? He used to sell fish in a store up in Billion Gates Market, from what I know. Him and his dad used to go there sell fish. He was a poor man. You know, he was a poor man, and now he's achieved the world. But he don't forget where he came from. He don't forget. Whereas, you know, in this game, many fighters they do. They forget where they came from. And every time I see Johnny Fisher, he doesn't know he's the person that he is. I don't know. I think in his mind he doesn't think he's the person that he is. Like he never looks excited. Have you ever seen him laughing? I've never seen him laughing. I've never seen him looking excited.
Only when he's been on here, yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
like every time I see him, he's just like humble, like
Yeah.
like is that he's the same person that he was back then.
Nah,
And
he's
that's
good.
and that's good to see. I'm very happy for him and his dad, and they've done so good for themselves.
Nah, he's really good. He was more nicer to even my boys.
Mm.
He was like, "Come here, do you want anything signed?"
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and he was just like,
Yeah,
he was really cool
Mhm.
guy. And finally, I want to ask you about one of my favorite boxers. He was part of, you know, the company that you work for, Queensbury, Tyson Fury. Did you meet him?
Yeah, I've met Tyson a few times, but I don't know him personally. He's someone that I see and I say hi, how you doing? But he's not someone that I know personally.
Okay.
He's from up north. He's from Manchester somewhere.
Okay.
I'm from London, so he's not. The only heavyweight I know quite well, I say, is Andy Joshua.
Okay.
But apart from that, I don't really know any of the heavyweights too well.
What did you think of Tyson Fury versus Usyk?
That was a good fight. Usyk just had a bit too much. I think the second time round, I think Tyson's going to go for it. I think he's going to go for it. I think he saw something in the first fight, and he knows that he can win. Even though he didn't win, he could have won. And I don't know what it is, but he knows what it is, because his confidence for this fight is different. And I think in this next fight, I think Tyson's going to show us something different. I think Tyson might even stop him. I think Tyson wins this next fight and by stoppage, most likely, because he's seen something. The first fight, Usyk, he got him, he shocked him, just a bit too slippery. But I think for this next fight, I think Tyson's gonna get him, pin him down, and give it to him.
He needs to.
I think he will.
I love Fury because he's been like one of the realest boxers as
Mhm.
well. You know,
Mhm.
he just says it how it is.
Tyson's been through the ups and downs, and he's a lad. He ain't got no image to maintain. He'll drink and he'll be depressed, and he'll come out and say,
Yeah.
I was depressed, I
Yeah.
felt like shit.
Yeah.
Whereas most fighters, they're too image conscious. It's like, whereas just be free. Tyson don't give a fuck. And that's why I like him. I respect him so much because, you know, I like him. I look up to people like that.
And finally, the very last question I want to ask you, there's a fight that everybody wants to see, AJ versus Tyson Fury. Everybody's asking for that. You know, some people say this is like way past its time now, but that fight sort of got to happen. And even Tyson recently said that fight's got to happen. How do you see that one playing out?
It's past this time now. I don't think people want to see the fight now as much as they did want to see it before.
Say it happens next year. Who wins?
I don't know.
Both giants.
They're both giants, and they both done so much for our game. It's sad to know that there's going to be a loser if they fight. I don't want to see the fight. I don't want them to fight because there has to be a loser. And I don't want to see AJ lose, or I don't want to see Tyson Fury lose. I don't want to see they both done so much for boxing. And it's like AJ's last fight when he in his last fight, I walked out after he went down in the first round. I walked out and then I came back in to people. I see him come. I'm like, yes, he's coming back. Even though I know Daniel Dubois too, I know AJ differently. AJ's helped me personally. Like I've had certain fights where I've got paid more than I was meant to get paid because of AJ. When I fought on his undercards, and whenever I've had some issues, I need some advice, he will sit down on the phone with me like for hours, and he'll give me advice, even though he's AJ and he might be in camp and he's got a big fight soon. He don't give a fuck. If I need some help, he will sit down on the phone to me for hours. He will help out if I need help, and he won't boast about it. He don't brag. He is a person that genuinely likes to help others. And AJ's got the best heart of a person that I know, because there's no one on his level that is as humble as him. And every time he fights and gets beat, I hate it. I hate it because a person like that, I want to see them win. I want to see them win. It hurts me more to see AJ lose than for me to lose. When I lose, I don't give a fuck. When he loses, I feel it. Because it hurts him when he it hurts him to lose. It hurts him, and I could see it in him because AJ is a person. He wants to be the best. He wants to progress, even though he's achieved a lot. He wants to achieve more, and he wants to get to the top and get to the top. And if it doesn't happen, it hurts him so much. Whereas me, I don't give a fuck. So it's different.
I think it's past his time now.
Maybe. Listen, we've got so many young up and coming fighters coming up now. A lot of us old guys, it's time for us to go now. I look at Azim. The first time I met Azim, he was a kid. He was about 9 years old.
Wow.
He was him and his brother, one of the guys that would come and sit in the gym and come and watch me out in the yard in the gym doing pads training like fans. Like he looks like these little young kids, and then I'm fighting against him, and he won. And he's got the beard now and the deep voice, and he's mad. I'm like, mate, it's time for these young guys to come up. And that could be the case for it with AJ, but he's not done anytime soon. For one thing I know about him, he ain't gonna stop when everyone else takes his time. He's gonna stop when he's ready to stop. When he's ready. So, we'll see.
Ohara, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Not just for these fight predictions, but for sharing your story, the resilience, the inspiration of, turning your life around, getting to the top. And I can't wait to see, what you do in the future. And hopefully we'll have you on again in the future.
I'll be
and,
on again soon.
And see what you're up to.
Next time I'll be on here, I'll know what I'm doing in life. Right now, I don't know what I'm doing in life. So next
You're
time
doing
I'm here,
good, bro.
Next time I'm here, I'll have some direction. This is what I am. Right now, I don't know what I am. Am I an athlete? Am I a property person? What am I? I go out and people say, "Oh, so what do you do for work? What do you do for a living?" I'm like, I don't know. Next time I'm on here, I will know what I'm doing for a living.
Bro, that's a beautiful position to be in because you've done so well. If you want to say a final message for the viewers at home and let them know how they follow you.
Thank you for watching and for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. You can follow me on my Twitter at Ohara Davies, on my Instagram at Ohara Davies, and shout out to Sean Lamb Podcast. Best in the business.
And that's it for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that episode. It was a really inspirational one. And if you're going through something tough in your life, you know how to turn that around. Just follow the right people, listen to their story, and you can also make that change. So until the next one, peace.